it's a funny thing that reloading your save game is somehow going back in time and changing things.
What will change in the present based on what I do here tonight?
We had to design something that works only for one level. So that's not something you do in development. Usually you try to design things and make them work for the entire game. So the fact that the team went along with that was really cool. And I'm happy that this level is getting this attention. It's really cool.
If you've played Dishonored 2 or seen our video review, you'll know that a crack in the slab is an ambitious mission that allows players to time travel at the pull of a trigger. You use this power for one mission, but once it's finished, you can't use it again. From a development standpoint, that makes a crack in the slab highly unusual. Making games, particularly modern AAA games, is very expensive. To keep costs down, developers need to maximize what they get out of the things that they create. So making a complex gameplay mechanic like time travel for use in just one level is pretty rare. Another recent notable example would be the Effects and Cause mission in Titanfall 2, which is also built around time travel. I wanted to learn more about the development of a crack in the slab, where the idea came from, how Arkane managed to make two entirely different versions of the same area coexist, and the challenges it faced in executing this. To do so, I Skyped with Arkane Studios' Christophe Carrier to talk about the making of Dishonored 2's most memorable mission. The story of A Crack in the Slab began in 2009, when 2K Marin announced that Arkane would be assisting them with the design, animation, and art on BioShock 2. It's on this project that the seed for A Crack in the Slab was planted, in particular a scripted event where protagonist subject Delta goes back in time.
At the time, I remember I thought, wow, that is awesome. That would be awesome if the player could control that, if he could have some device or something that could allow him to because to go back in time whenever he wanted, and it was it triggers a lot of reflections of what he could do in the past to change the present.
At the beginning of Dishonored 2, Empress Emily Kaldwin is violently deposed by Delilah Copperspoon, who was trapped in the never-ending realm of the Void until her unexpected reappearance. Arkane needed a way to reveal to players how Delilah managed to come back from her prison and stage her coup.
And then when we had this situation where we wanted the player to see the ceremony, I thought, wow, that's the perfect mechanism to do this. And we already knew how to do it because we already did it for BioShock, except that it was scripted and not whenever you wanted. But technically it was feasible.
Mine Baron Aramis Stilton's Grand Manor is falling to pieces. The garden is overgrown, walls have collapsed, and dust has collected inside its great rooms. But with one use of the Outsider's timepiece, the player is transported 3 years into the past, when the regal mansion is pristine and beautiful. Use the timepiece again, and it's ruined once more. To create this illusion, Arkane had to build multiple iterations of the mansion that exist separately from each other. However, to establish continuity between them, the player's actions in any of them had to be reflected in all of them.
As you know, if you change one particular thing in the level, I'm not going to spoil here, but then you end up with another level. So there are basically 3 levels in the map, piled up. You have one level and you have another one below it. And then when you activate the device, which at the beginning was just a dirty act from us, level designer, where you had almost a console command where you would enter a command and then it was teleporting you, like 1,000 units below. But it was easy to do because the mechanism is not complicated. It's just that you offset the position of the player. And of course, after that, we have to take care of what if the player teleports in something that exists in one level but doesn't in the other one. So at the beginning, we were teleporting inside the objects, which was bad. So we had to find ways not to do it, but this came later.
Which is where the Outsider's timepiece comes in. This fan-like item serves as a window into the past or the future. While held in Emily or Corvo's hand, players can peek through its glass-like blades to see their surroundings in the other version of the mansion. This effectively mitigated the chances of teleporting into a group of enemies and also introduced an additional layer of strategy to the gameplay.
Well, first, in level design, there are rules where you don't want to, for example, with the blink, you don't want to blink up on a platform where there might be guards. We try to avoid this kind of situation where you don't see the guards that are up when you try to blink somewhere. That's one of the rules we try to reinforce. It's exactly the same thing with the time travel. You don't want to travel without seeing. You could as well travel in the middle of 5 guards, and it would be very frustrating, and it would defeat the point of stealth. And so it was really important that the player could see where it was teleporting.
The timepiece really comes into its own during the puzzle where you need to input the code to enter Stilton's study. Complicating this is a group of guards patrolling the hallways, so players must avoid guards by shifting between timelines while quickly entering the code. This would be near impossible and incredibly frustrating without the timepiece's help. These cause and effect puzzles where making changes to the past allows the player to overcome obstacles in the future prove to be the most challenging aspect of the level to design.
Puzzles are very hard to do because if you make them too simple, everybody will say, it's too simple, and that's not a puzzle, that's below me. And if you do the puzzles are too difficult, then people will get frustrated and they're going to go online to find the solution, which we don't want that. So we have to balance the difficulty of the puzzle so that it's just as difficult, just difficult enough so that, you see what I mean? It's like a balance that is really tight.
Unless you're doing a no powers run, by the time you reach a crack in the slab, you should have accrued a number of abilities to use. However, once you step into Stilton's ruined manor, you find your powers drained due to the lasting effects of Delilah's ritual. Arkane had to toe a delicate line, make good use of their new mechanic, but without diminishing the player's now power-free experience.
The first idea was that it would remove some of the powers, and we were thinking about just leaving the far reach or the blink, so that because we were afraid that the player suddenly you remove the mobility power from the player, and it could be it could be annoying or frustrating, or the player might not like that. But at the end of the day, the more we're trying it, this specific gameplay of jumping back in time, and we realized that it was cool in itself, and we didn't need to add any power.
Despite restricting otherworldly abilities like Hypnotize, Possession, and Wind Blast, Arkane opted to keep passive abilities active. Removing passives like Agility, which allows Emily or Corvo to move faster, would have felt too disempowering to the player, who'd spent the game adapting their playstyle to the powers that they had.
Whereas with an active power, it's different. They know they can't use it, and it's clearer. I don't know if you see what I mean. It's like suddenly you tell people they can't run, they will feel very frustrated. If you tell them they can climb, it's different because they don't climb often, and they know that it's in particular situations. Anyway, it was too punishing for the player to remove the passive powers. And so we kept the double jump for this level, but we removed all the other powers.
Dishonored is about player choice, a game where you want your actions to have noticeable consequences. Originally, Arkane had big ideas for how player choice in A Crack in the Slab would impact the overall world state, but allowing these ramifications to extend beyond a single isolated mission could have created paradoxes that boggle the mind and may have broken the game.
The movie that I prefer is the one where you change something, in the past, and then the present is different because of your action. In Arkane we love when there are consequences to what you do. So it's perfect because you do something and you see consequences. The thing is, at the beginning we wanted to go real far with the concept. Like, for example, we wanted that the entire Dust District would be different when you come back. Like, there's no Paolo, there's no overseers, there's no war. These two factions fighting each other. We wanted them to not be here, and you could explore the levels, and the bar where Paolo is would be a normal bar with people, and then the mining building where the overseers have put their HQ would have been the regular mining, but it was too much, of course. And this would happen only for a tiny fraction of players who would have done the thing that I told you before. What was I saying? So yeah, at the beginning we wanted to do something really big. And of course, we could not do this, it was too crazy. We tried to contain the changes so that they were not too crazy in terms of production. So we did things that are a bit hidden, but not too much. And most of the effort went into the puzzles that you have to, solve to progress.
I wonder what I was doing in Dunwall on this night. Or what I am doing.
Thanks for watching this insider's look at the creation of certainly my favourite Dishonored 2 level. For more deep dive videos like this one, make sure to check out GameSpot Studios' latest series, a look at the rise, fall and future of Resident Evil. For more videos just like this one, make sure to like and subscribe to GameSpot, and we'll see you next time.